Hey guys, Will here with MediaPlace. In this video, I want to show you some of our more advanced features inside of our design suite. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look. All right, so the first thing I want to talk to y'all about is masking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a photo from in our add section here, and you can add an image that already exists within your slides, or you can import images from your synchronized folders inside of MediaPlace. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add this picture in here, and then let's go ahead and get started. So I've got this picture, and I want to keep this circle the way it is, but I want to mask this picture to this blue circle here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and select her, hold Shift on the keyboard, and then select my blue circle. Then I'm going to right click, select mask, and then I'm going to choose mask photo with circle. And so you see I have this little sliver here, and you're like, hey, it didn't line up properly. That's an easy fix. All you got to do is double click on your mask here and just move your circle until it fits the frame of the picture and then click off. So now we have a masked the picture to our circle, and now we can incorporate this into our elements, right? So for example, maybe I don't want her to be front and center, so I can line this up like so, and I can right click on the picture of the guy cleaning the window, and I can say arrange, and I can say bring to front. All right, so now he's in front of her, and then, but I can see here that the her mask or her circle is covering up some of our text for underneath this 100% satisfaction guaranteed, right? So what we can do is come over here to our layers, and I can drag this circle underneath the text, right? So this is the 100%, and that is going to be, let's see, let's bring this down about right here, just underneath this guy. Boom. So now it's gone underneath that layer, the text, and so now the guaranteed text shows up above her layer, which is awesome. Right, and again, we can customize this even more, and we can drag this over just a little bit more, just so we see a little face, and just like that. All right, so now let's talk about grouping. So I'm gonna come to a different slide here, and you see I have all these retros that are in the background here, and I want to be able to manipulate them all at one time without having to individually affect them and make more work for myself. So what I can do is I come over here to our layers, and I can actually select all of these text files from within my layers instead of having to go into the actual slide and then individually select them that way. So I can select that top retro, hold Shift on my keyboard, and then select that last retro, and now I've got them selected. So what I can do is I can right click in here and then hit group. And so now you can see it made a group out of all of my retros right there. And so now on the right side of my group, I can hide and unhide, right? So now I can show things if I want. Maybe I even want to just hide it. I could add in a different group or a different element altogether to see what that looked like, and then bring in back my retros, right? So that's one way to kind of like organize your elements as well, but then also give you access to manipulate multiple assets inside of your slide at one time, which is really cool. All right, so now let's talk about animations. All right, so let's come back over to this slide, and I'm gonna go ahead and select window cleaning, and I'm gonna come over here to element. All right, so we have different types of animations, right? We have enter, exit, and motion. So let's go over to enter, and let's scroll down because I want to show you text animations first. All right, so here, if I hover over letter spacing, you'll see here is where I can kind of animate the text. It gives you a preview of what you want that to look like. All right, so that's pretty cool. You can also use the standard animations above, right? So we can have them fade in. We can have it do a scale down, just depending on what your project calls for. So let's do a scale up on that one. And then you can have an exit. So if your video is playing and you want it to exit, you can have certain text and or graphics end in a certain way in an animation fashion, right? So you can have them slide off screen, that kind of thing. And you can have motion too. You can have them see these little blinks. You can have them pulse. You can have them rotational swing. So let me show you how this works with some of our masks actually, because you can actually animate the picture itself and the mask around it, right? The circle. So what I can do is, let's say I want to animate a motion or just have it enter a certain way. I'll have it slide into the right or maybe even slide into the left, just like that. And then what I can do is I can double click on my mask and then select the picture itself, right? And then have her do a motion. Maybe she's going to do, that's too much rotation, but just a little pulse or maybe a directional swing. I think that works pretty good. All right, so now if we play this current, let's see what that looks like. She comes in and then she does a little motion twist, right? So you can have multiple animations happening with different elements inside of your slides, which is really cool. All right, so that's animations. And again, that works for your text, that works for graphics, right? And everything is inside of the element section. Once you select an element, you'll see it's there. You have the options for animations for enter, for exits, as well as for motions on the sides there, right? So pretty cool. All this is baked right into your design suite in MediaPlace. All right, so now let's talk about presets. All right, so I'm gonna come over here to add here. And on the right-hand side of this top bar, you have my presets. So my presets are maybe things, and it's really useful because it's things that you maybe use across multiple projects that you want to have access to at all times, right? So for example, I've got in here this 25% discount, flash sale. I've got an iPhone frame that I can mask to something else if I need to. So for example, we could come here and let's go to our retro and then let's add and say, you know what? This is a shop now, it's trending. And I could say I need to add my 25% off discount there. So I could put that in here, come in, and then I can maneuver that to fit how I want it to, right? So that's something you could make available to you for all your future projects, right? That's what the presets are for. That's what the presets are for. Now, you can also come in here and maybe say, for example, you're working with some other templates inside of your slideshow here, and you selected this one right here, and we come back to it, and you're like, you know what? I really like this autumn sale. I want to make this a preset and use this for future projects that I may have down the line. So what you can do is select it, right-click it, and then choose Save as Preset, and save to my presets right there. And so there it is now inside of your presets. So I could come back over here, maybe to this slide, and so I can go to add, and I can drag this on top of my current slide here. And then now I can, say that we have an autumn sale going on, and I come in here and I could actually adjust the fonts here. I could change the color, and then I can tweak it to match whatever it is for the project that I have, right? But I have that asset available inside of my presets across the board for all my projects, right? So that's the power of presets and how you can use it for your projects. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the add button again, and I'm going to navigate to audio. All right. So you can import in audio from your synchronized folders within MediaPlace. And then once you have that audio selected, you can then confirm that selection and it will then appear inside of your audio section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this on top of my slide here, and you'll see it says music will be added to the timeline below. So I'll let it go. And here's where you can see that down here below it, you see the audio clip. And my timeline is actually for total amount of slides. If they're 5 seconds each, there's 3 of them, that's 15 seconds, right? So what I can do is I could actually put my cursor over my music track until I see the cursor turn to a 2-sided arrow there. Then I can left click and drag it out, and you can see it loops automatically, right? So that's a cool feature inside of MediaPlace. So if you have music that's too short, you can loop it all the way to the length of your slides, right? So that's really cool. Now with your music selected in the top right corner under elements, you're able to adjust the volume here. And then you're also able to add a fade in or fade out. All right. So that's music and how to incorporate that into your project, right? So that's really cool. All right. So that was a good overview of some of the more advanced features inside of our design suite. Hopefully you got some good quick tips out of this. Stay tuned for future tutorials. And as always, keep creating.